And then we were shooting, and there was a group of people from Japan that were taking a tour, and I was doing a stand-up, and they thought I was an American movie star, and we just didn't have the heart to tell them I wasn't. So I signed autographs. I'm like, these poor people have no idea that I'm really a big nobody, but it was fun while it lasted. Okay. One in the building. I know we have a picture of Peyton holding Kunzite, so I hope we can find that shot. Breath. Ships out on the 24th of April. These are the fresh from the fair items. Peyton will explain to you what exactly that means in a second, but this is the single largest Kunzite in the collection, named for George Koons. Look up the Curious Lore of Colored Gemstones. That is still one of my favorite books. I page through it and read chapters from it before our big shows. The 6 easy payments you see here is gone at the end of the day, and you are not charged until it is shipped to you. Okay, here comes Peyton. I bet you couldn't slip that in your back pocket and walk out the door.
I don't think so.
No.
Look at the color of that. You know, the lighting is not good there, but the color of this was absolutely incredible. You know, we have a tiny piece here, you know, just to kind of show you what the color was there. When you see the color of that, you know, it's a strongly pleochroic stone, which means depending on which direction you look at it, you know what? It's going to be a little bit different color.
Looks like my nail polish, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you know what? This ring is absolutely amazing. When we saw this ring, and a fresh from the fair means that when we were working the fair, when we were walking around.
Last week.
Right, just last week. We just came back on Friday. We hand carried this back because when we saw this, we fell in love. Number one, Kunzite. Very, very difficult to find, very rare. You saw the rough piece. Did we find a lot of cut stones? Not in the quality that we accept. It has to be this incredible violet color with touches of pink and even has a little bit of green depending on which lights you get it in. But when you see the size of this stone and the quality of the stone, and we've been in the Smithsonian, we've seen one of the most famous Kunzites in the world in a necklace by a very famous jeweler. And when you see this, this is one of those rings, you want to wear it to the Smithsonian because you know what? You want to stand in front of that famous Kunzite and say, oh, well, you know what? It's the color of mine.
Yeah, that's what I have. That's what I'm wearing.
Yeah.
And of course, it's named after the gentleman that is really credited, along with J.P. Morgan, of bringing colored gemstones to the world. Like before he came along, people only really thought about ruby, sapphire, emerald, diamond, pearl.
Exactly.
That's what everybody wore. And then he introduced all these colors. And I have this really cool book on museums, and there's a story about George Koons who, they were on a mining expedition for jade, and they couldn't find it, and they couldn't find it. And they said he was like a magnet for gems. He walked on the site, went over, and almost like reached down in and pulled out a chunk and was like, is this what you're looking for?
Oh my
like
gosh.
this, he just had this magnetism for colored gemstones. So, I mean, this is one of the rarest gems. We, in 31 years on QVC, we probably only had Kunzite the last, what, 3 years, 4 years,
and
if that?
very, very limited. And it's always limited because this is not a gemstone that you find lots of.
No.
You know, not in this quality. Yes, we saw Kunzite that was paler, that had beautiful light lavender color, but no. When we talk about Kunzite, it has to be this intense color. When you see this, and you look at it from different directions, you know, it's what we call pleochroic. You're going to see different lights from different ways. But let me tell you.
Oh, there it is.
There you go. Do you see that
peach.
little touch of green, a little touch of peach?
Look at that.
You know, this is what the finest Kunzite looks like. And this is one of those rings, again, this is a ring that you're going to be wearing. People are going to come up to you and say, what on earth is that gemstone? Because most people have never seen this. And certainly if they've seen Kunzite, they've seen a paler, a little bit more pink material. When you see a stone like this, and you see the quality, and you see the cutting, you know, number one, this has to be a master cutter.
Right.
Because to cut Kunzite, it's one of the most difficult stones to cut in the world because it is pleochroic, and depending on which way you look at it, very, very difficult to cut. So it has to be cut in one direction by a master cutter. And oh, by the way, look at the pave diamonds on the side.
Right. And when you think of probably one of the most famous jewelry stores in the world, and then their most famous designer, she chose a Kunzite to put in. Isn't that the piece that I'm thinking of? Yes. Okay. So here's my point. I can't really say who it is, but just go and look at that. When you, I personally think that the Smithsonian is the greatest gem collection in the world.
Absolutely.
I mean, not that I've been anywhere near the number of places you have, but even after being at the Tower of London, even after being at the Museum of American History, when you go to the National Museum of Natural History in Washington, D.C., and you go into that gem gallery and you see the gemstones, and one of them is a Kunzite in this color range, you understand how rare and exotic and exciting this is. We said it last night. Okay. Coming up, just as kind of like an example, this is why I love Gem Day. Coming up in a little bit, we're going to have an amethyst ring. It's $9 and change on Easy Pay. This is that, you know, oh my gosh, how fun. Let me get one to match my dress. Let me get one because it's my mom's birthstone and I'll honor her and remember her with this ring on my finger. Okay, that's not what this is. This is that considered purchase for the person that has a fine, deep appreciation and love of gemstones. This is a ring that is left now in 6 through 11, only 5 dozen remaining. And I'm not telling you that so that you make a rash decision, a knee-jerk decision and buy something. I'm telling you that because I don't want you to be disappointed if you have your heart set on this